Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Oh, it's a beautiful day for FGO grinding quests. And no, T.H.E, please stop. Please stop. I'm sure nobody wants to hear Epic of Remnant punctuated by meows, honey. I'm sure that's not anyone's vibe. Okay. A very traditional servant for me to have up front. But I do think that perhaps we need to consider what we're doing with our teams. At least for today. Alright. Let's see. I'm going into Chaldea Gate. How is everybody doing today? How has your grinding been going? I've seen a lot of people getting some pretty good results from the various summons that are available, or have been available, I think. There's only a couple left. T.H.E still. Yeah. I haven't been keeping up as much with the summons since I got 2 more characters I wanted, so I have not paid attention to anything newer than the Trung and whatchamacallem. Yeah. However, I would like to maybe set up... I need a junk party. Yeah, let's make a junk party. Let's see. Oh yeah. Knick-knack! Do you know how many stain sticks I own? Why would you do that? That's so dumb! Alright, when I say junk party, it means I want to see about doing a tiny bit for the bond levels of some of my newest servants that I'm very excited to be leveling up. So, technically, if I throw them into the back line, and then just let them kind of earn a little bit of passive use, I'm torn here whether to pick Sei, Wu, or Ushi, but I'm probably gonna grab Sei, and just make a kind of a junk party where my front line should be able to take out just about anything in a couple of these things. So let me just... Actually pretty decent for her, but is there anything? No. Is there anything more useful, perhaps? Okay, we're gonna use that one. You can start with your MP charged at 50%. Yeah, okay, so this is as far as I could get into leveling anyone, though. I am chalk out of Lancer, Berserker, Rider, and Assassin mats. So I cannot level up them anymore. I'm specifically out of the silver level statues for all of those. And then I'm also out of a lot of the actual mats. Like, one of these characters uses the fucking nuts. Don't have those. I feel like just in case you get called up. I mean, do I have space? I don't have a ton of space. Let's leave it at that. As a junk party. And let's see how many of these little interlude quests I could do using that junk party. Like these quests that are like level 20, level, you know. I know they're gonna go up in difficulty, but I've got some pretty low difficulty stuff right here, so if I need to go up in difficulty, I'll just switch teams. I love it when I'm told who to bring along. I realize that's the point of these quests. Just a little salty about it. Okay. So yeah. Act 2. Lovely. Yeah, we're skipping cutscenes on these, but just chilling. Good morning, Zero Herrera. How you doing? Oh, Peachy, stop pouting. Just because you got a bath doesn't mean you're dying. Got my sound up. Okay. Alright. I didn't realize I had so many start at 50% charge cards, so I really got to start keeping better track of that. No, I don't. Absolutely not. Why would you ever think that? Why would you ever think that? Absolutely not. I'm a professional, Knick-Knack. I'm a professional! Oh, that was beautiful. Alright, let's see. What can we put together here? That'll be fun. I guess that's fair. I never really look at... You know what? I have not looked at CEs enough, and that's something that I need to start focusing on, because they can be very useful to me. Ah. Fair. I've got a lot. I just need to start, you know, clearing them out, leveling them up, being a little bit more picky about what I'm doing with them. Okay. Well, I got new berserkers, so I can use berserker shit. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't even looked at leveling up the skills on my new servants because I am first and foremost concerned about leveling them up, and secondarily everything else. Oh, the Sumo CE. I don't remember if I went and bought that. I think I said I was gonna consider it and then I didn't, so maybe... Peachy, stop it. Stop it. You do not use my chair as a scratching post. Did you just snot all over me? Oh my god. Oh, actually 2 battles. Interesting. Yeah. Look, it was necessary. The grind had to happen eventually. Sometimes it's just necessary. I hope I am earning bond for those 3 in the back line. That would be nice. I feel like I'm being duped by how easy some of these are. I realize that they're not hard so far because it's like minimum level 25, but like it feels too easy even for that. I don't know if that makes sense. That's fair. I said, with as many CEs as there are in the game, I mean, I bet it could be hard to manage at a certain point. I saw the post in the Discord. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm too didn't have a ton of time before stream, but yay! I mean, I'm happy. That's fucking great. Okay, what? Yeah, I know that assassins are gonna take less I know assassins are gonna deal less damage against the caster, but okay. Guess I just used too much fucking Koyan? Interesting. Oh good, I am working a little bit of bond level, I guess. So yeah, I'm excited for Furin coming back. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, look, I have seen authors go on hiatus and like practically never come back, so I am happy, regardless. You know. Hi, Jens. Oh yeah, cleaning sucks. And good luck for Thursday. I don't think I'll be on stream till then, but good luck for Thursday. I hope you find someplace nice. Alright. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a terrible person. I have not been as diligent about finding a place for my dad as I should have been. So I really gotta work on that. I think he'd prefer not to be right next to the TV stand, to be honest. Alright, skip that, because I'll read it later. Let's see, and then, oh yeah, this Friday we've got the Naknarea event starting, so I'll be streaming this Friday. I've decided that I probably will stream a little bit after that, even before I leave for my vacation. While Knick-Knack is on vacation, just not maybe, you know, I might not be making up like 3 streams a week to make up for both of us, but I might be doing 1 or 2. Yeah. Series on hiatus is just, it's a gosh darn tragedy. Like the amount of manga series that have gone on hiatus while I've been reading them has been not inconsiderable. So, any news that a new chapter is coming out is good news, because I would not have been betting on it. And I don't necessarily blame the author, you know, because I understand that the publishing schedule can be extremely taxing on your health, especially if you don't take care of your health particularly well, or someone's requiring you to go like way beyond what you're able to do, but still, it can be awful. I misread that Spriggan's HP bar. I genuinely thought that said like 235,000. Because I'm so used to those Spriggans being like in the hundreds of thousands. Jesus. Brain like a sieve. Ugh. Also, those things are gross. Gross looking. Ugh. I'm so happy I got Melt. Yeah. Melt is great. Oh, is the Overlord ready? I feel so bad about Overlord because I really enjoyed the first like 2 seasons that we watched with the club, but I just never managed to keep watching it outside of the club. Even though I really enjoyed it, and I think I'd enjoyed the novel more than the anime because I hate Albedo. I just never did, and I feel so bad. But it's like 1 in a list of like, 300 things I'm trying to read. And I just could not do it. Oh. Oh, good. Caster and an assassin. Interesting. An interesting selection of... I'm gonna switch to her and... Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I feel like I'd be more invested in that than I would the anime. The anime was good, but I just do better with books a lot of the time. But yeah. I remember I was outside of the realm of just anime and manga going on hiatus. I remember I was reading the Rhapsody series by Elizabeth Hayden, right? A bit of a fiction deep cut these days, but the first like 5 or 6 books were out back by like 2008, 2009. Like they were all published like 90s to early 2000s, I think, like the first like 5 or 6 books, right? Like 2 trilogies, right? And then it was supposed to be 2 trilogies and then a 3rd trilogy, and I remember finishing up the book that I had. And then I was like, oh, I guess mom didn't buy the other 2 books. Let me go buy, the other book, right? And then they weren't out, and I think she didn't publish the 3rd trilogy till like 2016 or 2018, like started publishing them, I think, something like that. And because of that, I just never went back to read them, even though it's finished now, because like the first 5 books, like I liked certain aspects of Rhapsody, like obviously I was into them enough to read them, but they're those kind of books where if you have to wait too long, then you need to start considering rereading them over again, because there's so many little details and intricacies, and I was really struggling so I ended up never buying them to continue reading them, even though I probably should have, because I would have enjoyed them. And now I kind of think of this series as like this big tragedy for me, like in terms of like, damn, I think I really could have liked those books, and I just didn't, because the author didn't have them out for like a decade and a half. It's one of the reasons why I refuse to read Game of Thrones, the books, until the series is finished. I just won't do it. My mom made the mistake. She thought the series was over at 5 books, and she spent an entire summer slogging through the books, only to find out that they were not, in fact, over. And anytime I mention George R.R. Martin around her now, that she just curses that man's name and the day he was born. Like, she gets so mad about it, because she's so upset that he has not published those last 2 books yet. Or a sequel to Fire and Blood, which it's supposed to be part of a duology, so why would you not publish the second part of the duology if you're not, I agree, personally. I think it's absolute bullshit that like, fans have been waiting, like, a decade now. It's over a decade now. I think the last book came out, like, before the TV show started airing. Something like that. It's been an unusually large amount of time. But see, with the follow-up on The Hobbit, like, The Hobbit is a self-contained book, right? And Lord of the Rings, I don't think there was too long of a production period between the release of each book. And you don't necessarily, like, reading The Hobbit does not mean you immediately have to go into reading Lord of the Rings. I'm just gonna fact-check myself there. Let me just one-handedly try to type into a Google search bar. I do not want the film series. I would like the book series. Yes. Alright. Yeah, no. Fellowship of the Rings published in July of 1954, Two Towers in November of 1954, and Return of the King in October of 1955. That's less than a year between each book, and honestly, only like 3 months between the first 2. So like I would that would have been fantastic. Like, oh my god. I would have been so happy if that was the I guess that's fair. Like, if you wanted more, but I don't think necessarily that those books kind of, I think in this case that's just sort of the readers in that case, which I don't doubt, but like Elizabeth Hayden left an unfinished series, right? Like, this, it wasn't even like wrapped up in terms of the books that had been published. Like, there was just an open end that had not been finished. Which is, I think, what bothered me so much about it, because I was like, you know, like there was no news about it for so long. Like it was very irritating as like a 12-year-old to be like, oh. Personally. Ooh, food. Fair. But you know what? I can accept Lord of the Rings on its own. Like, Lord of the Rings doesn't feel like it needs a sequel, to be honest. Like, it's a self-contained story. It's, you know, it's so all-encompassing about the world that the only thing I've ever wanted out of Lord of the Rings, per se, is just more content about the world itself, right? And I get that through the Silmarillion and the Lay of Lúthien and the Lay of Beren and Lúthien and, you know, all that stuff that was published after his death. And I think none of that's actually required in terms of, like, actually enjoying it, you know? You know, I can understand that. Unfortunately, they then did that to the Hobbit movie, and that was a mistake. The worst part is I don't hate the Hobbit movies. Like, the first two I actually enjoy watching. The third one I get a little fatigued on, because I'm just like, it's so much, you know? Like, it's too much is happening in the third movie. But the first two I actually enjoy a lot of the various parts. But yeah, no, so there was Elizabeth Hayden, and then I think there was this other series that my mom and I were reading. It was like Cast in, and then, so every book was called Cast in, and then something like Cast in Ruin, Cast in Silence, by, Michel Sagara, or Michael Sagara. And we thought the series was finished at 6 books, right? Like, we were buying them on Nook. We both read the series. One of those series that requires you to practically keep your own timeline, right? And then we, like, a couple years later, we were like, huh, we should go reread those books, right? Went back. She'd published, like, 6 more books. Like, what the fuck? Jesus. It was too much. It was too much. No, Peachy. No. No, I know you're clean. But that does not mean that you're allowed to scratch things. In fact, it means you're less allowed to scratch things. Stop it. How are you not upset by that? I just flicked you on the nose and you licked me. Then again, though, I will say I would rather have a completed series. I'd rather... I place more focus on a book series being completed than I necessarily do on the author sticking the landing, because I think in a lot of cases I would rather at least the author get out the ideas that they have into, like, paper. Even if they're not perfect, then I would just not know what happened at the end of a series, right? Like, I'm not a huge fan of Inheritance, the 4th book in the Aragon. The Inheritance cycle, the Aragon series. I don't think the 4th book is particularly... Oh. Okay. I don't think the 4th book is particularly well written, right? I don't think it's very good at wrapping up all the stuff, but he also started the series as a teenager, and I can see where he wanted to go, and I could tell by Brisinger that it was not sort of following the timeline track that he wanted it to, because he kept adding new things in Brisinger when Brisinger was supposed to be the original ending, right? Because it was supposed to be a trilogy when he originally announced it, and there was no way he could have made it a trilogy when Brisinger came, like, as Brisinger was coming out, because he just kept adding new things. But, like, I rather have Inheritance exist to sort of establish what the author considers the final, you know, natures of the characters, than have an open-ended series forever, because an author, you know, didn't finish their works and didn't, like, wrong character, didn't express, like, why they were, you know, not finishing it or something like that. At least you get something, at least in terms of, like, fiction books. I think, yeah, manga adaptations, those are a little bit more disappointing, you know. Yeah. So that's, yeah, a problem I have with Aragon and a couple other series like that, where I'm like, well, at least there is an ending. And the thing is, Aragon's author, Christopher Paolini, right? He's written 2 books since. One of them's a YA novel. From everything I've heard, I didn't read it because it's not the genre I normally read, but from everything I've heard, it seems like those books have been very well received, right? Like that book was quite well received. People liked it. It won an award. And now he's coming back to the Aragon universe to publish like sort of new work into it. And I'm okay with that, right? Like I said, he was a teenager when he started writing them. I can't judge him for not being the best author as a teenager. You know, I myself was not a great author as a teenager. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I do absolutely blame the studio for The Hobbit. I think they looked at Lord of the Rings and they wanted a second Lord of the Rings, and what they didn't understand was the Hobbit book was never going to produce that for them. Like the Hobbit is a very different story than Lord of the Rings. It was not going to produce the same, and also just look at the length and the kind of detail and stuff. It should never have been a trilogy of movies. So, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I've seen the behind the scenes on, like, the struggle that Peter Jackson had trying to get any studio to greenlight like a 2 to 3 movie series for the original Lord of the Rings, because no one wanted to bet on a film that was unproven, and you get this amazing 3-film like masterpiece that everyone absolutely adores, which is fantastic. But then conversely, Hobbit did not need to be more than 1 film. Rude, Knick-Knack. I'm a fine author for what I do write, which is primarily academic stuff. Like, I'm a good writer technically, but I don't have the follow-through for creative writing. Like, I just can't... I have trouble sitting down and putting my words out on paper like that when it comes to creative writing. No issue with, like, essays and stuff, but not creative writing. Although somewhere deep in the back of my closet is I found it like a year ago again. There's a drawer on a storage unit full of old fan fiction that I was writing in like middle school and early high school, and it is horrific. I mean, it's bad. Yeah, I think Hobbit could have worked as 1 film if they'd given it just like a 3-hour runtime, really kind of followed the story that needed to be followed. I think the Battle of 5 Armies didn't need to be more than a footnote, etc. But yeah, I blame the studio for what happened there. I really do. Like, I understand that, like, it's hard, right? When studios are looking at The Hobbit and going, ooh, another Lord of the Rings, and not realizing that this is not another Lord of the Rings, right? This is a fantastic book, but it's not the same thing. So, I understand that. And like I said, I actually really like the first 2 movies. I think they're fun. Even regardless. And even the 3rd movie, I have parts of it that I enjoy. Definitely certain parts that I dislike very, very strongly, but... You know, doesn't everyone? Everyone's got some issues. Yeah. I know. Like, in my heart, I understand that. In my soul. Yeah. Well, the extended editions are always better. I still hold out that I would like a Lord of the Rings extended edition with every bit of scenes that they filmed, because there's, even in the extended editions, there's still hours of footage that were cut out from the final cut of the extended editions. And I would have loved to see that stuff. Like, genuinely would have loved it. My fighting against Musashibo Benkei? That makes sense, because I'm in a Miyamoto Musashi chapter, I guess. No, Peachy, stop it. I admit I have never gone back to the cinema editions since I started watching the extended editions of both of those trilogies, to be honest. Like, I think I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've watched the regular editions. Just because I'm more interested in the extended editions. More content, more joy for me. And then, of course, there's the TV show, which I can't say much about the TV show because I haven't finished watching it. But I did watch, like, a lot of the first season. I think I'm, like, one episode from the end. And it didn't wow me, I think is the problem. Like, at least as far as I'm watching, like, there's certain parts of the Rings of Power that I do enjoy, right? Like, don't get me wrong, it's not horrible, like, in all aspects. There's certain parts of it that I really enjoy, but there's other parts of it that I'm just like, and it just didn't overall kind of pull me in. Which is unfortunate because, any Lord of the Rings media you'd think you'd love, but, boy, have I a story for you about this weird Soviet Union production Hobbit movie that was absolutely horrific to watch. Ugh. Like, it was bad. I think I've, oh yeah, we had the extended edition DVD set. I think the only times in recent memory that I've watched the cinematic editions are, no. Because I have the DVDs, but I also bought the extended edition specifically on Google Play, so I have access to them, like, when I'm flying, because I can pull them up on my phone and watch them. Because they're a great movie for when I'm flying. So I was going to say, maybe the only time I remember watching the regular editions is when I'm showing them to, like, someone who's never seen it. But no, because I use my Google Play copies, so, yeah. Even when I'm showing it to people, I've only used the extendeds. Okay. There we go. Ah. Yeah, I just have DVD. Yes! I love that song. It's on my regular playlist. I love it so much. Yeah, but Knick-Knack, that's not something you notice when you're first watching it. It's only after you've seen the extended that becomes a problem. Oh, yeah. Hang on, Knick-Knack. That scene's not in the cinematic. Is it? Oh my god, it's actually been so long since I watched the cinematic edition. Does he see the sacking of the Shire in the Oh, yeah, because that's with Galadriel in the forest. Yeah, okay. That must be in the cinematic. There's no way they'd leave that out. Oh god. Sometimes I forget which parts are in the cinematic versus not. There's no way they'd leave that out. Well, no, but it's shown in the vision he gets when he looks into Galadriel's mirror in, It's not? Wait, that's not in the cinematic edition? Yeah, he sees it in Galadriel's pool. Yeah. Yeah, but because we don't see it in the... Yeah, because we don't see it in the extended either. That's as much as we see about the sacking of the Shire, even in the extended edition. It's just the vision in Galadriel's pool. God, I'm Jesus. My brain. My brain. Sometimes I genuinely forget. my god. Yeah. Yeah, because I think also my favorites. So my favorite movies are the second and third, and my favorite scene in the second movie is only in the extended edition, um, which is part of the reason why I always watch the extended edition. I'm not that surprised. You know what I am more surprised about? I'm more surprised that in the intervening years between Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and now with Rings of Power, I'm surprised that we never got like Luthien and Beren or Turin Turambar, or the Kinslaying. Like there's some like really iconic stories that you, or the Fall of Gondolin, right? That you could do as like one movie. Or like two movies at most. Like, oh my god, the Lay of Luthien and Luthien and Beren would have been a fantastic, like, tragic movie, you know? So why would you not do that when you have the option? I mean, maybe you don't have the option, but still, I don't know. That's the kind of stuff I'm surprised they never did. Yeah. Oof. Oof. Jesus. Oh, man. I think I only read one of those so far. Oh, no. Two. Yeah, because I read Vinland Saga, and then I've read Record of Bloodlust War. Yeah. Yeah. When series sometimes get dropped from magazines, it's such a huge, like, there's such a, if they're old series, like, you think back to like the 90s and stuff, a lot of times they didn't have like the online support to keep going, which frickin' sucks. Yeah, because they only have rights to the appendices. But like the Lay of Beren and Luthien has been published as its, because I have a Lord of the Rings shelf, right? So I've got, let's see. Let me just move Ku real quick. Let's see. Because like, yeah, because I was like, the Lay of Luthien and Beren has been published as its own separate book, and there's a couple of them, like the one about Turin Turambar has been published as its own separate book. So you know, I like, and like I respect that I respect the rights of the estate to not want to just allow anyone to do adaptations of some of their works, but the first trilogy was so good, and even The Hobbit wasn't that bad. And I want more as a fan. I understand that is not what everyone, like, it's not what they want, but I want more as a fan. Yeah. Yeah, and I know, like, the Tolkien estate has published that they don't actually like the film adaptations and stuff like that. But, like, this bullshit. You cannot like it personally, but you have to admit that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the, if not the most iconic fantasy movie series of multiple generations, to be honest. Like, it's massive. Like, this isn't something you talk about having a cult following. It's massive. Well, the estate consists of more than just his son. but I do believe, I think I remember reading somewhere that the estate did put out a statement at one point saying that they did not really approve of the movie stuff, like the movies that had come out, but those licensing rights were sold before the current, like the people at the time were in charge of the estate. So it's like, look, I get that maybe you didn't like the movie, but this is cutting off your nose to spite your face, honestly, I think. Like, the movies are fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And pre-production is really important with something like that. It's just disappointing. I think it's just very disappointing. It could have been so... Oh, that is not what I meant to do. Yeah. So, you know, secretly in my mind, I hope that someday someone gets the rights to do the Lay of Luthen and Baron, the Fall of Gondolin, the story of Turin Turambar, the Kinslaying. Those are all stories I would love to see adapted to TV or a film, to be honest. So I would be very excited for either one. Any of those, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. I think another movie series that I would like to see a new set of adaptations for, and I think a TV show is in the works, I think. I remember Paolini posting about the script being read, I think, at some point, because I follow him on TikTok, is the Aragon series. Like, I grew up with that series. Nothing in me is gonna make me hate that series, to be honest. Like, I absolutely, like, it's one of my childhood series. And the first movie, a lot of people say that the first movie was really, really awful. And I admit, it wasn't a great adaptation. But I actually really enjoy watching the first movie still. Like, I think it's a fun movie to watch. Which I think that about a lot of movies. I'm very easy to please when it comes to movies. Put a little action on screen, a little special effects, and I'm like, ooh, yay. Oh, gee, was that off? Yeah, that was like 3 parts. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's getting a screen adaptation again, and I'm very excited to see where that goes now. And then I watched the Percy Jackson movies when they came out, and I've been watching the TV series. Well, yeah. Look, it was going fine until the recent... I love James Bond. I don't love the Daniel Craig movies. And it's nothing I have against Daniel Craig, because I love him in a lot of things I've seen him in. I don't like the composition of the Daniel Craig movies. I think that they are... And it's hard to describe, like, exactly what this, like, means to me. But the Craig James Bond movies almost feel more like a Mission Impossible movie than a James Bond movie. Like, they're so... American actionized, is that they lose what I think is a lot of the actual fun of the James Bond movies, like the actual, like, you know, fun little janky spy stuff, in favor of, like, massive explosions and huge car chases. And not to say that James Bond movies have never included that stuff, but there's less actual espionage and intrigue in the Craig movies than I prefer for a James Bond movie. Yeah, I have fond memories of going to see Aragon in theaters with my family, because it was one of the few times that my mom and dad both went to the theaters with me, because my mom doesn't like movie theaters. They're too loud for her. So, really love the Aragon movie, just for that. Yeah, Jens, you are in line with me in that aspect then. Don't get me wrong, I love Daniel Craig as an actor. Do not love his James Bond movies. They don't feel like James Bond. They're just too actionized. Yeah. Because I've seen Daniel Craig in a lot of other things. I don't mind him, it's just those movies. But then again, I mean, some of my favorite James Bond movies came from Roger Moore and Sean Connery, so, you know. Exactly, Jens. It's important that it is shaken, not stirred. Ooh! Silver statues of almost of everything, I think. Great. I needed that. Yeah, Brosnan was never my favorite. I am a Connery and Moore kind of person. My favorite James Bond film is a Roger Moore film, but I think my favorite overall James Bond is Sean Connery. So I have seen the Brosnan films though. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. I understand that. Like, I really do. And I don't want to deprive, like, the Tolkien estate of, like, control over the production, because I think a certain level of control when the estate cares about, like, the integrity of the work is good, right? Because I would hate to see what's happening kind of, like, to Rings of Power, where they're just kind of doing kind of whatever they want, to be honest. But also, being so controlling over it is sort of... It's definitely dooming it a little bit. Like, being too controlling is a bad thing, and not having any control is a bad thing. I think there needs to be a middle ground here, where, like, the rights can be allowed, like you can allow some of these other stories to be made into movies, but with, like, some supervision, you know? But I think it's such a fine line to walk, and I understand that because of how hard that is to navigate. I guess I can understand why some people wouldn't want to try to navigate that. I've actually not seen the Bourne films, like at all. Yeah, no. That's fair. I feel like I would like Roger Moore if I rewatched his films again more recently, but it's been a while since I've seen my favorite film by him and the rest of them. So, yeah. And then you have, like, I guess you're talking about other adaptations where, like, good and bad is happening. So, putting aside that J.K. Rowling is a terrible person who has opinions that I do not agree with, right? I grew up with the Harry Potter books, right? Before we all knew that she had opinions that we did not agree with, right? So I grew up with the Harry Potter books, which means I love Harry Potter, right? It's hard for me to step away from that because they were such an integral part of my childhood. And I like the books. They're good, especially as, like, a children's reading books. And I watched all the films as they came out. And I have some issues with the way that the films were adapted. But in general, I enjoy the Harry Potter series. I don't think that we need a new TV remake with, you know, right now. I don't think that's necessary. I think we're still actually too close to when Harry Potter actually came out for it to actually be effective that we're getting the story remade as a TV show, you know? Like, it's not been long enough. Yeah. Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Dumbledore said calmly. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm sure the actors picked are great. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of budget and it's going to look fantastic. But it wasn't necessary. It just wasn't necessary. It's so soon, and with everything that Rowling's got going on, with opening her mouth online, it's not going to be well received. And then that's going to look bad on the franchise going forward, and I just think it's a bad idea right now to redo Harry Potter as a TV series. And also, I've got a pretty firm opinion here that I will not be swayed from, is that if you're going to do Harry Potter as a ongoing TV series, you need to be releasing one season per year. You can't be doing what shows like Bridgerton and Stranger Things are doing, or even what One Piece is doing, where you're having a multi-year gap between seasons. You are following this cast of characters who starts at 11 and ends at 17. Now, in that time span, you've got about 10 years before your characters look too old for their roles, even if you start them a year or two younger. So you have to be releasing one season a year, or like 1.5 years at the very most. And I just don't have faith that any of the modern streaming production companies are going to manage that, because they haven't for other series. Look at Bridgerton, look at Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things cast is already aging out of the fact that they were supposed to be kids. Like, those are all adults now. They're not going to look like kids again when they come back for another season. And I don't want to see this. I don't want to see the entire cast recast after 4 years because they couldn't get the fucking seasons out. Like, I mean, they pushed it on the movies, too. Like, they started the movies with some of the kids younger than the prescribed 11 that they're starting at, technically, in school. And they were still pushing, like, I think 21 or older on most of them by the last couple movies. So I just... Like, I think a TV series is a fantastic way to do Harry Potter, because I think there's so much that gets left out in the movies, like little fun bits and extra bits that makes the series more lighthearted. Because especially after the director change in movies 3 and 4, I personally think that the movies get really, really gritty and dark, and I actually don't think that they fit necessarily with the tone of the books after that point. I think they tried to age the movies up with the audience that was watching them. And it made the movies far more depressing than they needed to be. And also, the first thing to go when they started to darken and make the movies more gritty was any of the comedic and fun bits that were good in the books. But yeah, I've got such a strong opinion about them needing to actually cope and deal with the aging of the fucking actors. Yeah. See, I would count 20 years from the release of the last film is what I would do, to be honest. Not the weird prequels, but just the last film. Yeah. Ironically, I actually like movie number 4 the best. It's my favorite movie of all of them. And I realize that is not a popular opinion. But yeah, I just... It's something I'm very, very pissy about, because I think that there's just so much space to do it wrong. Yeah. And I... I think it's because I like... 4 feels like, out of all the movies and books, like, the book for 4 was the one that was the most interesting in terms of all the stuff that it covered, and funny little asides, and new characters being introduced, and stuff. And even though a lot of that got cut out for the movie still felt very different than the others. In a way that was interesting to watch and fun to experience. And I like seeing the other schools of magic, even though there are some issues with the way that they're portrayed and stuff. And so for me, it was just a film that I really liked. I think, to be honest, my favorite book is probably 5, actually. Like, weird take, but I really liked 5. And then probably 1 and 2. I think 3, 6, and 7 are my least favorites. Which, ironic now that 2 is one of the movies and books I like the best, because I am so fucking arachnophobic. That I was not able to watch that movie for so long as a kid without, like, a pillow or a friend with me. Ooh. But yeah. I think that the best done movies, like, technically, were 1 and 2, to be honest. I think 1 and 2, in my opinion, felt the closest to the books that they were adapting. Dumbledore felt the most accurate. The tone was actually more on the up and positive side. And I didn't have to struggle with actually seeing what was happening on screen because they decided to grayscale the entire fucking film production from like movie 3 onwards, so that you actually struggle to watch the fucking films, which just gets worse as the film series goes on. I swear to God, I went to see 7 and 8 in theaters. You couldn't see the movie half the time. Even in theaters, black on black does not work. I have such strong opinions about movie producers either underestimating how badly 3D filming quality affects the color composition of their shots, or their inability to accept that there can be a tactical like audiences can accept that the light comes from nowhere in a movie so that they can actually see what's happening, right? So yeah. Ugh. Frustrates me to no end. If I cannot see what is happening in a TV show or film, then you have done something wrong intrinsically in the way that you filmed it. See, that's fine, and it's not the worst in 3, but like from 4 onwards, it just gets progressively worse. I mean, 6, 7, and 8 are practically unwatchable in certain scenes. It's awful. 7 and 8 especially. Yeah. Yeah, willing suspension of disbelief for lighting to exist. Look at Lord of the Rings battle scenes at night, and then look at the Game of Thrones Season 8 battle scenes at night. Somebody understood that everyone in the audience could put aside their inability to fucking see so they could watch a film, not just watch shadows of black on a black background. And it does not make it more, more impactful if you only get to see one scene out of the fight. It just makes it unwatchable. It's like my biggest pet peeve in movies. It's my biggest pet peeve. Oh, I had a bunch of... There were backup enemies. Cool. That's fair. 5 is just a fun book to... Because I think 5 is one of the better books in kind of like the latter half of the series that both manages to kind of transmit a serious and more adult tone while also still managing to kind of shove in enough like little comedic bits and like pranks and other stuff that's happening, like, oh my god, the swamp corridor and everyone banding together against Umbridge. Like, we got to see a little bit of it, and those are my favorite scenes in the movie, but it's everything else that you kind of miss out on, which is really unfortunate. Yeah, I too miss Day for Night these days. Like, I know people had their issues with it color-wise, but the solution is not better at this point. Once again, cutting off your nose to spite your face. Oh, I don't want to do Day for Night. Okay, then light up your fucking night. And then that's the other thing is I can understand that the like early films that were filmed with 3D cameras misunderstood like the sheer amount of oversaturation you need to add to achieve color in film, right? Because 3D cameras darken and monochrome the film that they're filming if it's done normally, right? But look at The Hobbit. If you've ever seen the background filming of The Hobbit, they understood that, right? Like the Mirkwood shots, right, are not unwatchable. You can see everything that's happening. And sure, when you look at the set from like outside of the 3D cameras, it looks like a goddamn psychedelic fucking nightmare, right? But it worked. I don't care if you had to paint the characters' faces in contouring of red and orange. It worked. You can see what's happening on screen. The colors make sense, even if they're dulled down through the extra stuff. Yeah. Yes, 5 did give us the best villain. Because truly, Umbridge is horrific. She's just awful. Jesus. But I love it because she's awful. You know, it feels accurate. It feels nice. I don't care if it's realistic. This is called the willing suspension of disbelief. Filmmakers, understand the concept of the willing suspension of disbelief. It is a fantasy. It is fiction. Even in a biographical movie, there is a willing suspension of disbelief that allows you to light and film the movie. It makes me so upset. So upset. And don't even get me started on the Fantastic Beasts films. I had such high hopes. Oh my god, and they were ruined. And the worst part is, I think that's and like, here's the thing. I love Johnny Depp. I do. I think he's fantastic, right? I think it's very unfortunate that he gets typecast a lot ever since, you know, some of his wilder roles. But I love Johnny Depp, right? I don't think he was the right choice for Grindelwald, and I think the writers allowed their typecast perception of him to affect the way that that character was portrayed in the first two movies. And I think that's unfortunate for the character, because Mads Mikkelsen played an amazing Grindelwald in the third movie. It makes the third movie worth it, right? Is Mads Mikkelsen's Grindelwald. It was not the right role for Johnny Depp, and even if it was, I blame the writers and producers for not, you know, letting him be outside of that perception of him as the crazy kooky character. And I hate it. There are other problems with those films, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of other problems, and Ezra Miller is just, like, the whole character that Ezra Miller played, and then the actor himself is themselves, I think it's themselves, is a separate issue altogether. But, oh. And no, I do not acknowledge the cursed child. I don't care. I don't care what you say. No. Absolutely not. Not doing it. Nope. Nope. The cursed child is to me what Boruto is to Naruto fans. No. Absolutely not. Unacceptable. I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah, like, why get rid of Johnny? Like, I might not have liked Johnny Depp's Grindelwald, but, like, fucking Credence Barebones was worse as a character, you know, and as a human being, apparently. Get rid of him if you're gonna get rid of anyone. And, like, his character was just not necessary or good in the second and third movies. Like, it just didn't need to be there. Like, his character ended with the first movie. We didn't need him brought back. We don't need him coming back. Why did we? There was no reason for it. This is the stupidest storyline. It's so bad. Like, if you had just taken out all of his scenes in the third movie, like anything having to do with Ezra Miller's character in the third movie, right? The third movie would have been actually fucking great, I think. Well, yeah, I know that's why they did it, and once again, it's still super unfortunate because you picked the wrong side, you know? And like I said, I love Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald. It was amazing. It was fantastic. But, like, I didn't love him at the cost of, like, Johnny Depp losing a role that he was already playing, necessarily, you know? Like, I would never say, oh, I wish that they'd given it to Mads Mikkelsen in the first place, per se. I don't mind that they gave it to Johnny Depp. I blame the writers for being unable to Look, I finished those. Is it rank up quests? Yeah. It's the rank up quests that I have now. I'll have to change up my my party for that. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And then I mean, look at what DC ended up doing. Like, just fucking, ridiculous, unacceptable. All right. I don't know what I actually need out of this shit, but I'm just gonna up all the lower stuff that I have, per se. Sure, I'll need it someday. Yeah. Hang on, let me see. I think I might have gotten... Do I have an ascension on someone that I want to ascend right now? No. I saw myself get a nut, but I think I need more than that one walnut or whatever. Alright. Okay. Oof. Those are like high-level quests. I love that. Oh, I have got a lot of these here. Shit. Fuck. Oh boy. You know, the worst part is, I think the first DCU movie I actually watched was Justice League, because I hadn't watched any of the new Batmans, and I hadn't watched I didn't watch the Superman, right? So the first thing I watched was actually Justice League, because I hadn't seen Wonder Woman in advance either. I don't remember if it was out before or after. But I first watched the Justice League movie, and I actually really liked the Justice League movie. I thought it was so much fun. I was so excited, and then all of my hopes and dreams were trampled. Trampled. The Cavill's the Superman I didn't watch. I have since watched, I think, one of those movies, but I've actually never watched his Man of Steel origin movie, so, you know. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna switch parties. Not you, not you, you. Okay. I'm gonna switch you for you. Yeah. Justice League was a tragedy. I liked the movie, and then everything just went downhill from there when I got into it. So sad. So sad. Yeah, yeah. Because that was Batfleck, right? I think it was Batfleck. Hey, oh, I will say, I do really like the Robert Pattinson Batman. Big fan of that. Like, really, genuinely. I actually think it's a really good Batman movie. Like full stop. Like, no hesitation in me saying that. Had her doubled up. Okay. Yeah, well, I don't know, because yeah, because when they showed him in Chamber of Secrets, I think they kind of tried to use basically the same actor that they were using for, like, him, like, now, and I think, like, timeline-wise, it was only the 20s to the 40s, so it would have only been 20 years, so he didn't need to be, like, white-haired and bearded and all that shit, which is unfortunate. But that's one of those things where, like, I could see why they never planned for that, and so, you know, I don't really care all that much. Yeah, no, I liked the Wonder Woman movie, and I did really like the Aquaman movie. Honestly, I liked both the Aquaman movies. Don't get me wrong. I actually really liked both. But I feel like that's because the Aquaman movies felt like Jason Momoa was having a lot of fun with the role. And they just felt like both of them were fun movies to watch visually. And then Wonder Woman, I just liked Wonder Woman when I finally got to watch it. You know, like, it took me a little bit. I didn't, you know, it took me a second to watch it, but I did really like it when I did get to. Oh, disappointing. Oh, good. Okay. But I mean, you know, I also love Jason Momoa because I think the first thing I ever saw Jason Momoa in was Stargate Atlantis. You know, and so like I've been seeing Jason Momoa like on screen since he was very young. And I really liked him in Stargate Atlantis too. So for me, Jason Momoa is just one of those actors that I really like. And his relationship with Orm in the second movie was fantastic. I think like the interplay between them, absolutely amazing. I have yet to see the new Superman. I did go see How to Train Your Dragon, but that's not the new Superman. So I don't know if I'm going to see the new Superman movie in theaters. I might end up just seeing it when it comes to streaming. I hated Batman vs. Superman. Sorry. I hated that movie. I hated that movie with a burning passion. Never saw Shazam. Never saw Wonder Woman 84. Didn't see Blue Beetle. And I didn't see the Flash movie. But I hated Batman vs. Superman. Like, genuinely hated that movie. Oh. God, that was awful. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I made the mistake of sitting down to watch the Suicide Squad movies with my mother. Because I did not know what the Suicide Squad movies were going to be like. My mother is not a fan of excessive gore or cussing or inappropriate innuendo. I was told by someone, you should watch the Suicide Squad movies. You'd like it. My mom and I were watching all of them at the time in quarantine. We watched basically all of them except for Man of Steel because I forgot that one existed. That was a bad decision. That was not something I should have ever done. I regret every day showing my mother those movies. So I have watched the DC Animated Universe. I actually like the Animated Universe films. Like, really like them. Yeah, big fan of those. Oh, Thor: Love and Thunder was awful. I don't like thinking about that movie. That movie made me depressed. I hated that movie. It was so bad. Like, it was so bad. Jesus. So bad. Oh my god. But I watched the DC Animated Universe because I am really into Batman. Of all of the, not Batman himself, but I like the extended cast of the Batman section of the DC Universe. So I watch the animated stuff for the Batman characters that show up. So, you know. Puts me in a very good position to just sit there and enjoy the characters I like being featured. I can't. Yeah, no. There we go. Oh, really? You couldn't just finish him off? So rude. Oh, poor dude doesn't have a cranium. Just a face. Don't mind if I do. This is overkill, I realize that, but it's pretty overkill, so who cares? You know, hot take here. Not even a hot take. I don't know why I said that. Balban looks like she would fit really well in a Monster High cartoon. Like, at all given times. She would just fit fantastically well in a Monster High cartoon. I don't even remember the kids floating head effect. I'm gonna be honest. It's been so long since I watched those movies because I never watched them again after I watched them with my mom. No, Monster High. Very different series. And I mean that entirely in just a design way. Literally no other way. Just the design. She's got the Monster High look. Nice. Sometimes period pieces are great. Oh, was there actually a fix done after the... Damn. Damn, that sucks. Because it was still shit. I mean, no, it wasn't shit, but like, the other thing was not just watching it with my mother who was like already predisposed not to like the two Suicide Squad movies. There were certain parts of them that I thought were funny, but on the whole, I actually didn't enjoy them very much. Like, you know. Yeah. To be honest, I think with a lot of the DC movies, we struggled. We had a little bit better luck with Marvel, but that's just because I think Marvel's produced so many movies that they have a higher percentage of actually making one work. And then there are obviously movies that, like, for example, I know for a fact that there are some movies that most people, like, I've talked to Nick Nack about, and he, like, does not share the same opinions on them as I do, like, especially in the Marvel movies, so, you know. Valid. I'm still waiting for a new Spider-Verse movie. If that's ever gonna happen at this point. It's been so long since the last one came out, I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's been a while. Yeah. That was like 2022 or something? Yeah. 2023. Okay, I was pretty close there. Because I remember it was actually pretty soon after I met a couple of my new college friends, and it was like watching them together. But yeah, I really like a new Spider. Yeah, but it's been in production since then, and then it was delayed because of the strikes, which I totally understand. That one I get. And then it was delayed again and again and again. It's like a comedy of errors with that movie. I think it was isn't it supposed to be coming out in 2026 now? Or did they push it back again? Because if they pushed it back again, I cannot deal. Oh. Wasn't it supposed to be 2025 originally? That's, yeah. Oh. What? Okay. I forgot that he did that. Yeah. Yes and no, Zero Herrera. I don't like the idea of anyone in particular like rushing a movie out before it's ready. But at the same time, I think there's also a window of diminishing returns of interest in a franchise the longer they sit on it, and the longer that a group of people sit on a movie, the higher chance that they decide that they kind of look back at it with like a sort of a hindsight view and start changing things because they think it'll be better that way when they change it, and I don't think that's always true. So like you know, is like, yeah, I'm really interested in a new Spider-Verse movie. If it came out this year or last year, I would be extremely excited for it. Given that it's probably going to come out in 2027, I won't go see it in theaters. I'm not waiting that long for a movie. I think that is an almost unacceptably long gap for an animated movie. And I understand that, like, it's really good animation, but it's not 4.5 years good animation, especially for a movie that isn't just the third in a trilogy, but is such a direct and connected sequel, obviously, to the second movie, right? Like, it's not even like... Because, like, between the second and the third movie, it's just another movie in the series. But the end of the second movie is an active cliffhanger on a 2-part story. Yeah, and see, they need to stop that, right? There is a point of diminishing return, and they have hit it, in my opinion. And I'm sure that's not an opinion that most people share, but that's the opinion that I have. And I understand that I am just one person, and obviously I do not represent, like, the entirety of the customer base. But, like, I'm just not going to be that interested in the movie if it comes out in 2027. That's 2 years from now. I don't care that long. That's another thing that's bullshit. If you have a movie filmed, release it. I don't care. I don't care. If you filmed it, release it. Yeah. I don't want you to rush it, but there's a difference between rushing it, right, which would be taking like 6 months between 2 movies, or like a year between 2 movies. There's a difference between rushing it and just never releasing a movie. Because that's what's happening right now, is we're just not getting a movie. And I think that's unacceptable. Especially because and not to, well, I guess who's producing this? Yeah, I was just gonna say something about the MCU, but Spider-Verse is not technically part of the MCU. It's separate. Is Sony in control of them? Like, is Sony still in control of those movies? Okay, all right. So it is Sony, but like, I feel like a good thing to look at is, like, yes and no on Marvel, right? At least the MCU understands that they need to get sequel movies out in a relatively reasonable amount of time, right? Like, obviously current stuff pending because they've realized that they've oversaturated the market and they need to take a step back. But, like, if there was one thing the MCU did that was really good in, like, the first, like, decade or so, it was the fact that they never made us sit on storylines for 5 or 6 years. Yeah. I mean, look, even if you're gonna say it takes 4 to 7 years, okay, then don't announce it and then make people wait 7 years, right? Like, it's not. It's not good. Yeah, no, like, sure, you have to reshoot things because of the strike, but surely you didn't have so little of a movie when the strike happened that you essentially just scrapped production and started fresh afterwards, right? Because that's what it feels like they did in terms of timing. Like, 2023, okay, we're in 2025, but if they're gonna wait till 2027, that's a long time. I mean, that's a 5-year turnaround, 4-year turnaround on a movie that, in theory, if it's as intrinsically connected to 2 as they're making it seem with the cliffhanger and everything, should have been developed as a single story together and storyboarded together. So in theory, then you have the production time added on for the first one, and then all you should be doing is recording and producing the movie in the intervening time. Yeah, right, exactly. Like, if Deathly Hallows Part 1 ended and then you had to wait, 3, 4, 4 or 5 years for Part 2, oh my god, that would have been awful. Like, that's just awful. Like, how do you... It's a part 1, part 2! I don't understand studios. Oh, wow. Well, that was not good. I feel like I'm not the problem here. Look at that. I am not the problem. Yeah. Yeah, just... I hate that shit. I hate that shit so much. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not on the side of, like, rushing a film either, but I just feel like knowing as much as I know about, like, even if an animated movie takes, let's say, 7 years to produce, right? In the case of Spider-Verse 3, you need to account for the fact that the story should have been written out, at least in, like, relative, like, solidity when you were writing Spider-Verse 2. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm definitely just being spoiled by the fact that Lord of the Rings did it right. Everything is judged against Lord of the Rings and found wanting. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, fuck you. Oh good, I wasn't sure I had anyone left. Oh, I did this to myself. I was not paying attention. Y'all got me so off track. the Penguin and Kets came out. That's the first time I've used them. Yeah, but like, it's still... Maybe more filmmakers need to spend more time thinking about their pre-production than they do... I know, it's unrealistic. You don't know, I don't know the industry. From the perspective of a consumer, Spider-Verse 3 is unacceptable in terms of its release schedule. From the oh, nice! I got a skill rank up. Oh, is that what I get with these? Like skill rank ups and stuff? Cool. I've never completed one of these, I don't think. I have no clue what I've been doing. So, okay, so a lot of this stuff that I have, I just have to get to Ascensions to unlock. Alright. Okay. I guess Coulter's next. Ooh! I was gonna say, that's a really nice Babanshi. The Barghest. Fuck, man, I'm an idiot. That's also a nice Ibuki Doji. Ooh. Take the Barghest. It's got 10 skills. Maybe we need to, maybe people just need to make a few less movies a year and put more effort into the movies that they do make. Maybe I'm unreasonable for saying that, but you know. Maybe we just need to haul it back a bit, do a little less, put a little bit more effort into stuff. Maybe I'm being unrealistic. Oh, not the... Fuck. Not the Saber v Archer matchup there. Should have put Barghest to attack first. Yeah. I don't want to be I don't want to be fighting that. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that the original Lord of the Rings is kind of essentially a once in a lifetime phenomenon. I mean, you filmed all 3 movies at the same time, right? That way you could maximize the effectiveness of the sets that you had to construct, and that sort of thing. And because they were filmed all in tandem and then released separately after editing, like I understand that, and that's not reasonable to expect of films nowadays. Like it's just not reasonable to expect. But I think it is reasonable to expect that studios can handle a slightly higher quality level of like attention to when things get released and how long you're making audiences wait, and quality. I would rather have like 1 or 2 less movies a year from each studio if the remaining movies that we had were a higher quality, right? Like genuinely, I would fall on that side of the spectrum. So, you know, and I don't think it's unreasonable of me to say that I think I would like a little bit higher quality in some movies that come out, you know? And I would like a little bit better in terms of like stuff actually coming out. Like don't announce something and then have it be like 5-6 years before the movie comes out, right? Like sure, you can say, oh yes, we're, you know, in pre-production, but don't be like, we're filming, right? Don't do that. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, that's awful, Zurara. Like, can you imagine? What if the person can't make reshoots? What do you do then? Do you have a weird scene where you've AI'd the voice in? Do you have a scene where you get, like, a replacement actor for that scene? Do you decide not to do that scene as a reshoot because that actor doesn't have the time or isn't in the place that they need to be to get that done? It's unreasonable. I know, and that's also a part of the problem. Look, Knack, I am not here to try to fix what's happening in the industry. I am just here to express the grievances I have with the industry. I am not a film producer. I cannot comment, but I can bitch from the perspective of a consumer. Don't burn out like Marvel, but don't do what DC did. Find a middle ground. Also, make more new movies. Stop remaking movies. Not that I haven't enjoyed some of the remakes, but stop remaking movies. Make new movies. Get a creative team that actually wants to create something unique and new. I know, I'm asking too much. I am expecting too much out of our world. Yeah, well, Star Wars. Fuck Star Wars. Fuck Star Wars. That franchise has just no. Yeah, no, I know Disney's hauled back a little bit on their output of the remakes, and honestly, I think that's a good thing. Not that they've had the best luck with their original movies coming out, but at least it's been something new, you know? Like, I know Wish wasn't good, and what's the other movie that came out recently, the animated one, but at least they weren't just a remake of an earlier film. And there's no, I don't, tacos. I would rather die. And the thing is, remakes are not always terrible, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't do remakes at all, but it should not be the vast majority of like your 10-year plan for a studio, right? Like, for example, I think that the Cinderella movie, the live action, was really good, right? I'm happy we got that. Am I equally as happy about all the other remakes we got from that studio? No, we did not need a new Lion King. No, we did not. We did not need a new Jungle Book. It was unnecessary. It was also not good. Oh my god, I'm just... Oh. Use somebody else's cats, but a nice cats. Yeah. Like, it's so hypocritical of me to say when, like, the movies I've enjoyed the most recently are Jurassic Park... like, the only two movies I've seen recently outside of Paddington 3, I think, have been Jurassic Park Rebirth, which is... I don't know if I can consider that a new movie, per se. And How to Train Your Dragon, the live action, which is absolutely not a new movie. No. No Mufasa. Absolutely the fuck. I know. No. No. It hurts me deep inside to think about. Ugh. Ooh. That's lovely. That's a lovely layout. God, I love cats. Oh. Did it? Oh, but I hate that movie. No. No. Especially after Snow White did so badly. No. No. I'm so sad at that. I haven't even seen that movie and I don't like it. That movie made money because people were going to see it to see what they were doing, not because it was good. And I hold to that thought. Stop hitting my cats! Ooh. Keep hitting my cats! Oh! Yeah, these fights are getting harder. Oh, Jens. You missed that I am very opinionated, but yeah, I'm very opinionated. Yeah, have you seen Jurassic World Rebirth? Jens, I need to know, have you seen Rebirth yet? Because... Okay, I'll wait. I will wait till you respond because I need to know. Hi, Freshard. I should not have... No, I'm unhappy about that. I'm unhappy about that, Knick-Knack. I don't like the... Upsetty. Upsetty, it makes me upsetty spaghetti. I don't like it. Oh! It's Cascu! Interesting. Huh. I do have 3 NPs to drop, though, so... I'm gonna do that. Oh, but yeah, and the other thing is I also don't watch movies in theaters as much anymore. And I think that's just because a lot of movies go to streaming so fast that it's just easier to catch them on streaming. And with as much as movies cost, I think the time when I'm most willing to go watch movies these days is on cheap ticket days at this point. I went to watch Jurassic Park Rebirth on like Cinemark Tuesday. Because it was $5.50 a ticket, you know, like under $15 for both of my mom and I's tickets. And then yeah, we got like a nice little popcorn bucket. I don't have it in here right now, but it's one of these big tin ones. I do want to get the black and red one. I have an idea for it. I think I'm going to end up buying one like on eBay or something. My friends say they haven't been able to find one around me at any of the Regal theaters, but I do want to get that square bucket. I'm going to put a candle in it, and I'm going to let like the, yeah. So yeah, and I do want to pre-order the. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say one thing. Two things. I'm gonna say two things. One, Jurassic World Rebirth feels like Jurassic Park 3 in spirit. One. Two, the paleontologist character in Jurassic World Rebirth is possibly the closest kinship I've felt with a character in a movie franchise in my entire life. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that for the purposes of this conversation. Not to say that you have to go see it in theaters, but I think it would be worth watching it when it comes to streaming for you, or if you end up just watching it on your own. And those are the two things I'm gonna say. Yeah. I can't say more. I literally can't because I can't. Oh. Did I not? Oh, I clicked. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen the other 6 movies. I kind of group the 6 movies I kind of grouped together. I grouped Jurassic Park and Jurassic World together because they're not in terms of quality, but just in terms of like feeling of the films, right? Like they're kind of the same films. And then Jurassic Park 2 and 3 I grouped together, and then Jurassic World 2 and 3 I grouped together. Jurassic Park 2 and 3 because they're dinosaur films. I enjoy them. They're on, idiots on an island dealing with dinosaurs. And then Jurassic World 2 and 3 I grouped together because, ugh. Like Dominion and Fallen Kingdom are just, ugh. Neither of them feel like Jurassic movies. They just feel like movies. Yeah. It's the best way I can describe them. They don't feel like Jurassic movies. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. As I said, I wait a lot of the time for stuff to come to streaming. Like, a lot of the time. The only reason Mom and I went to see Rebirth in theaters is because my mom is a huge fan of the, was that the wrong team? I think it was. My mom was a huge fan of the Jurassic Park movies when they came out, and they were really big. Yeah. I think I might feel the same about Dominion, I'm gonna be honest. Let's see. Fair. But yeah. I don't know. But yeah, they're I think, and the last thing that my mom went to see in theaters with me before Jurassic Park Rebirth was Indiana Jones 5. So, like, it's very rare that there's a movie that she cares enough about that we go see it in theaters. Oh, we might have seen Paddington together. No, we didn't. I showed it to her streaming. Never mind. Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, no, Fallen King, no, I think that was Dominion. Isn't it Fallen Kingdom is the one where the island blows up and Dominion is the bugs? If I'm wrong, then it's the other way around on which one I hate more, because it's the bug one that I hate more. Like I said, I could be wrong. You know? It's totally possible. I'm bad at remembering. Okay, that's what I thought, yeah. Yeah. I hate Dominion more. Yeah. I don't like either of them, but I hate Dominion more. Yeah. Oh! Oh, we're just facing different coups. Okay. I just caught that. I'm an idiot. Yeah. Yeah. And like I was such a dinosaur kid too. I love the Jurassic, like the original movies. My mom swears we have a copy of the book. I haven't been able to find it. I want to reread it. So I went to Barnes and Nobles. They're out of copies of Jurassic Park. At every Barnes and Nobles in my area. I had to be put on a call list for a hold of a copy when they ship them in. No, because I want my own knick-knack. Actually, I might borrow yours to read while you're on vacation. I want to reread it, but I just have I just cannot believe that like every single one of the 3 Barnes and Nobles near me are all out of physical copies of that book. It's ridiculous. You would think I know that Dominion and Fallen Kingdom didn't do that good in terms of numbers, but you'd think with the new movie coming out, they'd have stocked up on copies of the book. Yeah. Yeah, no, like Jurassic World was pretty fucking good for what it was. Like I really liked it. Jaws is having a 50th anniversary re-release this fall, and I've never seen it, and my mom wants me to take her to see it in theaters. So there's a decent chance that I get to see Jaws for the first time on the big screen this fall, which I think is pretty cool. Oh dear. Oh buddy, stop it. Quit being mean to my characters. I'm using the wrong team for this. Yeah, so there's that. With the Jurassic Park movies, I think I've always liked Jurassic Park obviously the most out of them. 2 and 3 though, I think I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think I've always thought that 3 was just a more fun movie to watch. I don't necessarily think that means it's better than 2. I just think I enjoy watching it more than 2. But I still like 2. And then World is, like, I enjoy watching World. I've not seen Dominion and Fallen Kingdom a single time after the first time I watched each of them. But I am going to rewatch Rebirth when it comes to streaming. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair, Tacos. Aw, knick-knack, that's unfortunate. I've never seen it either, so I can't really judge you for that. Yeah. I was like mentally scarred as a child by like somebody let me watch Deep Blue Sea far too young, and ever since then I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to watch Jaws. I don't want to watch Spider anything, to be quite frank. I just stay the fuck away from me. Fair. I think I read them when I was very young, but I haven't reread them, which is why I was trying to find our copy and I just can't find it, so I need to buy a new one. The worst part too is I do like I sometimes I'll be like I like to myself I quote stuff from Jaws, like you're gonna need a bigger boat, or the like I do. I'm just not. Ugh. I want to rewatch all of the movies, because I feel like, well, I don't technically need to rewatch 1, 2, and 3 for like my ability to remember them. It's been a while since I watched any of the Jurassic World movies. Like I said, I've obviously not seen Jurassic World 2 or 3 since they came out, but I haven't watched Jurassic World a whole lot recently. So I do. What? I don't even understand that reference, Dargos. I guess I will when I watch the movie. But yeah, I do need to do a Jurassic rewatch. I also want to do a How to Train Your Dragon rewatch, though. So definitely got some stuff I want to do. Yeah. Fallen Kingdom had some references. Dominion was just weird. And like this is a weird thing, but like, so I watched Camp Cretaceous. I haven't seen Chaos Theory yet, and I haven't finished Camp Cretaceous, but I watched the first couple seasons of Camp Cretaceous. And the first season of Camp Cretaceous actually was pretty good in conjunction with Jurassic World. And so like Camp Cretaceous does kind of help with Dominion and Fallen Kingdom. Like, it makes them a little better. Oh, absolutely the fuck not. I hated Deep Blue Sea. Tacos, you don't understand. That movie scarred me. I will never recover from what that movie did to me. I'm still freaked out by just the concept. No. Well, you're gonna have to watch the rest of the How to Train Your Dragon movies, Nick Nack. How dare you not? Like, I've seen all 3 of them in theaters, and multiple times after theaters, and I saw the TV show, and I played the phone game, and I owned the books, and I read the books before I watched the movies, because they're basically 2 different things. It's just necessary. I don't think I'm gonna do well with Jaws. Like, I'm gonna watch it, but I don't think I'm gonna do well. Oh, look, the Camelot set. This brings back bad memories. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've always appreciated that Jurassic did kind of keep bringing back some of, like, the original characters. It didn't, like, it feels nice to have that, like, continuity acknowledgement in a lot of those movies. So I'm a big fan of that. It's just that I know for a fact that when they start like da 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 da, like, I know that's just gonna get me like wound up and I'm gonna jump like you wouldn't believe. I am naturally not good at like tension building. For fun. I mean, is that a problem? Or is that a bonus? Hot take, my favorite character, leaving out Jurassic World Rebirth, because that changes actually who my favorite character is across the entire series. My favorite character is actually Dr. Wu across like the entirety of Jurassic canon up till Rebirth. Followed by Malcolm, or Ian Malcolm, yeah. That's fair. I think Camp Cretaceous, it's nice to watch when you think it's on its own, but then when you realize that, like, from season, like, Camp Cretaceous literally is happening at the same, like, Camp Cretaceous seasons 1 through 5 are happening at the exact same time and in a lot of the same places as Jurassic World movies 1 through 3, and so there's, like, added context to the story that you only get through watching Camp Cretaceous, and there are literally times where something will be happening, like, in, like, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and something is happening in the same place at the same time in Camp Cretaceous, and if you don't watch Camp Cretaceous, you never know it happens, but it adds on if you do watch it, and it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, see, Tacos, I'm not gonna do well with that. I'm gonna die. That's fair. I don't trust guarantees. Oh, yeah! No, the kid in Jurassic Park 3, he survived like 6 weeks, wasn't it? Wasn't it like 6 weeks on Isla Sorna? Like, I think it was long. It was longer than a week. Yeah, that's kind of what it is, Dick Knack. I mean, better quality, but well, I don't know if it's better quality. I never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I really liked the first season of Camp Cretaceous. swear, though, that kid was on Jurassic Park 3 on Isla Sorna for like 6 weeks, though. I could be wrong. I thought it was longer than a week, though. Yeah, that feels... yeah, I feel that. Discovery was the new one, right? I tried to watch that with my mom because she was a big Star Trek fan when she first came to the US to live here. And she just could not get into it. And I felt very bad because I had like shown it to her initially because I thought she'd really like it, and she did not. She just was not that interested and could not get interested. Okay. Oh, a nut. I needed that. I didn't really keep up with the behind the scenes on like the Marvel stuff, so okay. Yeah, I thought it was a while. Frashard, you have a very nice bar guest. It is a very nice bar guest. Ooh, I use it. Trung Sisters. Fair. Let's see. Oh, it's a Star Trek series. I have no clue what that is. I just had to look it up. I have struggled to get into Star Trek, like genuinely, and I think a lot of that is because my first exposure to Star Trek was I watched the Chris Pine movies, and then I was stuck in a cabin for like a month one time with just like 3 or 4 of the old novels, and they were not good. Like, I did not enjoy the ones I was reading. And ever since then, it's really, I've just not managed to really get invested into any Star Trek properties, you know? Like, I don't think, I have no opinions on them. I just can't get into them. Which is, I think, unfortunate. But I've also sort of just kind of fallen out of, like, watching a whole lot of, like, science fiction and stuff like that. Like, just in general, it's not something that I do a whole lot of watching anymore. I think I watched more of it when I was a kid, and nowadays I'm just kind of like, not really. Yeah. Well, the novels I read were not good, so... I think that, yeah, that's the one my mom watched, and she really liked it. I think I saw 2 episodes as part of a history of science fiction literature class. And they were okay, but they were also 2 random, unconnected episodes that we didn't really get a whole lot of context for in the context of that class. So, yeah. And it just seems like such a large franchise to try to get into at this point. Like, I know that's kind of defeatist, but there's so much, and I just never know where to start, or really have time to kind of, like, think to myself, ooh, I want to start now, you know? Because I'm currently rewatching Merlin, the 2000 show, 2005. That's what I'm currently watching. And I'm rewatching that because the first time I watched it with my mother, we watched the first 2.5 seasons together, and then I went on a dog sit and she finished it on her own and gave me like a 2-sentence summary of how the whole damn show ended. And I'm still salty about it. Oh, Jesus, like somebody. Okay. Oh, that's fair. You know, that's valid. I don't understand what that means because I don't know those acronyms, but that's valid. Yeah. But I mean, like, keep in mind, like, I think the thing that replaced Stargate for me in, like, a sci-fi show growing up was Stargate. And I love Stargate. Despite its many, many flaws. Don't get me wrong, that series has a lot of problems, but I love Stargate, and I watched all 3 of them. So I understand, like, declining quality, like, oh, believe me, I get it. So, yeah. Sorry, Stargate replaced I think the space where my mom might have showed me Star Trek growing up was taken by Stargate. Because my mom watched Star Trek, I think before I was born or when I was too young to remember, whereas Stargate we watched together as I was growing up. Like, I remember sneaking out of bed at night to watch the new episodes when they premiered and watching them, you know. Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and say that series does not have issues. It has a lot of them, but it doesn't stop me from loving it. Okay, the original series, Deep Space Nine. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I haven't used the Charlemagne in a while. I actually wish that they'd. I wish that they'd continued the 3rd series, Universe. I think that where Universe was not renewed at the end of season 2 was Universe did not hit its stride until season 2, but I think season 2 was actually doing miles better than season 1 and really improving episode by episode, and it was a hell of a cutoff at the end of season 2, like, oh my god. And then it was just never renewed for season 3, and that is a goddamn tragedy, because I think they'd finally hit something like they'd really started digging into the meat of the series and getting us all interested and involved. So I will forever be upset that Universe did not get to go on for at least another season or 2. As for BBC Merlin, I've tricked another friend into watching it with me, which is going to be great. So, you know. I'll get to rewatch it. They'll get to watch it for the first time. I won't have to have the last 2 seasons summarized to me in like 2 sentences. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. Oh, interesting. Fair. I've never seen it, so. Okay. Alright, I have an NP. Joyeuse. I'm working on Gareth, aren't I? I don't know why I guess I just picked who was next. Ah. Well, that happens. Believe me, that happens. But I also got like, yeah. I think Universe, the character that I think grew on me the most in Universe was the Doctor. And he just kept like growing, to be honest. So. I've never heard of V. I can't contribute to that. Yeah. Yeah. I think on the whole, everything was looking up by the time they hit season 2, but I think Universe just did not hit a stride in season 1, and by the time it got to season 2, I think a lot of people had dropped it, and there just wasn't enough interest to keep it renewed, so. Although I will say about Star Trek, I did like the Pine movies. And don't get me wrong, I actually really liked the movies I saw of it. So that's fair. We have very different tastes in media. So that, I get it. Not in a bad way, just in we have very different tastes in media. Okay. Oh man, why do I have so many? I know why I have so many of these, but why do I have so many of these? I'm doing it for the courts, and I'm doing it for Ozzy. That's what I'm gonna keep telling myself. It's the only thing I can keep telling myself. Oh, a say. I'll use a say. That'll be fun. Oh. I think I went to see some of the Star Trek movies that came out in the 2000s in theaters. Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Nick Nick. Just because some of us don't watch movies like we're being paid by Rotten Tomatoes to critique it. I did. You know what? That's another one. I tried to go back and watch fucking Xena recently, and I could not get into it. I like the idea of Xena, but I just struggled. I had the same problem with Buffy. I tried to go back and watch Buffy with my mom and just really struggled with it. And the thing is, like, from what I know of the story of both, I like it. And I like the actors. I just struggled. Yeah. I felt so bad, too, because I was like, I feel like I do like this, but I just can't get into it. No, you review things like Rotten Tomatoes is paying you for bad ratings, Nick Nack, to be quite honest. You know what I'd love to do to consume War of... I want to hear the original radio drama of War of the Worlds. I'm sure I can find it somewhere online. I think I would really enjoy that, because I read War of the Worlds, and, like, reading it's okay, but I feel like the radio drama would have really been, like, poppin', you know? Kind of sad I've never heard it. I should go look up and see if I can find some recordings of it online. Yeah. Yeah. At this point, most of my knowledge about Buffy comes from, like, people talking about it rather than watching it. And I do feel bad for that, but I just couldn't. To be fair, though, as a child, I think my favorite thing to watch on TV was Meerkat Manor. So, you know, I wasn't exactly running to the Sci-Fi Channel. I was running to Animal Planet to watch my weekly episode of Meerkat Manor. I had posters for that show. I was but a meerkat-obsessed child. I am still obsessed with meerkats. They're so cute. Oh. I did not realize that was the thing. I could keep being mean, but I could also not keep being mean. It's fine. Alright, Nick Nack. Hey, stop hitting my say. You little bastard. Oh yeah, that would explain it. Never mind. I loved Crocodile Hunter. That was the other thing. Meerkat Manor, Crocodile Hunter, Prehistoric Park. Yeah, Prehistoric Park. Which I feel like Jens, you probably remember Prehistoric Park. Like I remember watching every episode of Prehistoric Park. Yeah. It's a good thing I have so many golden apples. There's a lot of AP on this shit. It's a nice Carmilla. I think I didn't watch a whole. I think I didn't watch a whole lot of animated shows when I was a kid because my dad was pretty strict about like what I was allowed to watch, like in terms of media, which meant that I watched like Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and Scooby-Doo was really kind of it. And then when I had a little bit more access to TV, I watched Huntic, Secrets and Seekers, and some of the stuff that showed on like Disney and Cartoon Network. So, you know. I don't know if anyone here is like up on the TikTok trends right now, but you know Alex Warren's song Eternity? I saw an absolutely fucking gut-wrenching edit of that song about Steve Irwin, and it broke me. I was so upset. Oh, that sucks, Jen. Prehistoric Park as a child was great. As an adult, I'm sure it had a lot of flaws. I haven't rewatched it. It's actually really hard to find streaming. Like, I remember trying to find it streaming and really struggling. But yeah. Prehistoric Park. And the Scooby-Doo movies. I love the Scooby-Doo movies. I love the Scooby-Doo shows. I've seen pretty much all of them. I think the only Scooby-Doo media I haven't watched is I didn't watch the Muppet one, because I don't like the Muppets. I didn't watch Scoob, and I haven't watched What's Cool Scooby-Dooed. Like that's like the specific Scooby-Doo series I never bothered watching because I just think it sounds stupid. I refuse. But I've seen all the rest. Yes? Is this gonna be about the Muppets? I'm not changing my opinion. If this is about the Muppets, I'm not changing my opinion. Which Scooby-Doo live? So there's the 4 live-action movies, right? There was the Monsters Unleashed and the other one, and there was the Curse of the Lake Monster, and there was the Lake movie, right? We're talking about those 4. I enjoy them. I don't think... So I feel like I should put into context in how I first consumed some of those movies. I was gifted like a DVD when I was in Eastern Europe, and on one side it had like 20 animated Scooby-Doo movies, and on the other side it had like 18 more animated Scooby-Doo movies, and then the Island Park one was Scrappy and the Lake Monster one. And that was the first time I'd seen them, and I thought they were really fun. And then the 2 high school ones, right? The Monsters Unleashed and the other one. I watched them. None of the 4 live action movies are ones that I like jump to go back to watch. But I don't hate them. I do, however, regularly rewatch a lot of the animated movies. Yeah. Like I'm a big fan of most of the animated movies, including some of the ones that people are not the hugest fans of, like Monster of Mexico and Aloha and the Abominable Snowman. Like I just really like almost all of the animated Scooby-Doo movies. As for Muppets, Tacos, I think my firm opinion on Muppets is that I did not watch a single Muppets movie as a child. They were not movies that my parents approved of. They were not movies that my parents showed me. And so I have no nostalgia for it. And as an adult, I do not find them amusing. I just don't. I have no nostalgia whatsoever for them as movies. So, you know. Yeah, so it's probably one of the only Scooby-Doo movies I haven't seen. I think I haven't seen the newest 2 animated movies, just because I haven't had time since they came out. Yeah. But I've seen the original Scooby-Doo series. I saw What's New Scooby-Doo. I saw, Monsters Inc. I saw A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. I saw Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. I love them. Absolutely love them. Like, I grew up on them. I think I used to sneak out when I was sick and watch A Pup Named Scooby-Doo on TV really quietly so my dad wouldn't wake up from, like, babysitting me. Yeah, I thought that was so cool that Matthew Lillard ended up being the VA for Shaggy and Sky. Like, and he's fantastic. Like, he just embodies, like Scooby and Shaggy. I adore it. And the thing is, I actually think the casting with Sarah Michelle Gellar and that, like, the casting of the Island movie, pretty good. I think Velma's the person I've always struggled a little bit with how they've casted her, but I think they've hit the nail on the head at least once with Fred and Daphne and Scooby and Shaggy. Just like in general, I think they've done a pretty good job. Beautiful. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I don't think I ever will be. To be fair, I missed a lot of kids' movies growing up because my dad had some pretty strange opinions on what he considered to be, like, appropriate movies for children. Like, my dad didn't like me watching, like, the Disney movies with talking animals because he thought that it would teach me that wild animals weren't dangerous. So I wasn't, like, allowed to watch, like, Bambi or The Fox and the Hound. Which was very weird. Like, my dad had strange opinions on what I should be allowed to watch. And because he was retired, he was home all the time. So he was kind of like the final say in, like, a lot of the things I was allowed to watch as a kid. Yeah, Frosher, I don't know either. I don't get it. So I've still not seen The Fox and the Hound. I've never seen Finding Nemo in its entirety. I don't think I've ever seen Bambi in its entirety. I didn't watch Brother Bear until quarantine. Land Before Time I have seen at a friend's house. One of them. Yeah. I basically, growing up, I was pretty tightly restricted to media that my parents liked almost exclusively. That's why I grew up watching crime shows and, like, The Three Stooges and then for some reason my dad really loved, like, Cars and How to Train Your Dragon, so, like, he took me to see those movies. And then Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Aragon. Yeah. Just a very strange. No, I was allowed to watch Jungle Book. Jungle Book was based on Rudyard Kipling's book, and I was allowed to read Rudyard Kipling's book, so of course I was allowed to watch Jungle Book. And Robin Hood. There's a very strange dichotomy here, Tacos. If we went through a list of Disney movies right now and I told you which ones I was and wasn't allowed to watch, oh boy. Boy, would that be a funny little interaction. Believe me, I'm aware that growing up I had the weirdest consumption of TV and movies. Like, believe me, I understand. I I watched more NCIS as a child than I did actual children's cartoons. And I think that says a lot about me as a person. I watched Holes for the first time literally last year. Because my friend showed it to me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's 100%. Yeah, all the CSIs, the NCISs, Criminal Minds, The Mentalist, Law and Order, like that stuff. Yeah. Yes, tacos. Literally, you can't watch, like, you know, Fairly Odd Parents or Disney shows, but you are allowed to come sit with me and watch the new episode of Criminal Minds or CSI or NCIS. Believe me, I see the irony here. Also, I would dare anyone to argue that The Three Stooges is not just as violent as any children's cartoon with violence in it. Like, Sing a Song of Sixpence alone, I watched a man get literally ironed. Yeah, my dad was pretty much entirely against just children's shows, with the exception of, like, Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, and Looney Tunes, which were stuff that he had grown up with. Or, like, knew when he was younger. Like, I wasn't really allowed to watch Disney Channel or Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, like, almost at all. Animal Planet was acceptable, right? I was allowed to watch Stargate, and I was allowed to watch the shows that my parents watched, like, weekly while they were coming out, which was crime shows and Stargate, really. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean... I think... I enjoyed watching The Three Stooges, but I think that's just because it was it was a bonding experience with my dad, and there was one of the few things that we agreed on, like, watching in general. I also watched a lot of car restoration shows and history programs and stuff like that. And then in terms of movies, it was pretty much exclusively what my parents were interested in seeing. So obviously, Harry Potter, apparently I went to see the Lord of the Rings movies when they came out in theaters as a baby. Like, my parents dragged me along. Not that I can remember, but, like, I could say that I saw them in theaters originally. So it's like those, you know, obviously my parents was the Aragon movie, Golden Compass, like the Harry Potter movies. Every time that they came out was like a family event. We went as like a big family. My dad liked Cars, so we got to see Cars. I probably started being allowed to pick the movies I saw in theaters in high school. Yeah. So, like, anything pre-2015 had to be something my parents were interested in. But post-2015, I was starting to break out and watch my own stuff. I had access to a computer unsupervised for the first time in middle school. Technically, although I had to keep the computer in the living room. I wasn't allowed to have a computer in my bedroom separately until high school. So high school was when I started actually being able to watch whatever I wanted that I could find online. And then in middle school, I did watch some anime stuff, but like my parents were like sitting on the couch behind me while I was watching it, so it had to be like stuff that they weren't going to complain about. I also spent like a pretty large portion of like middle school and high school trying to make up for all of the children's TV shows I hadn't been allowed to watch. But for some reason, I ended up watching a bunch of obscure stuff. Like, I watched the, like, multi-season Little Mermaid animated cartoon, and stuff like that, which was not what everyone was watching. Oh, you know what? I was allowed to watch DuckTales. That was another thing I was allowed to watch. The original DuckTales. Yeah. And then media from Eastern Europe. So I watched Lupogadi, and I watched Carlson, and I watched Почтальон Piechkin, and stuff like that. So. Oh no, Frostshard. Asking me about a movie with high hopes is never a good idea. Right? Oh my god, yes. The bathroom breaks were integral. Oh, I don't think I should answer that, Frostshard. Were you not here? Were you not here the last time I talked about this on stream? I feel like I shouldn't answer that. Oh. I didn't watch Princess Bride growing up. I watched Princess Bride for the first time in 2019, I think. For the first time in 2019. I read the book when I was, like, in high school, but I have no nostalgia for it. And I read the book first, and I didn't like the book. Yeah, I read the book first. I wasn't a fan of the book, so I didn't watch the movie on my own. And my friend had me watch the movie in college. And there's a lot of parts of it I like funny bits. Like, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die, you know? But I don't go back to rewatch it. It's not a movie I've ever considered rewatching. I think it's got funny bits, but I have no nostalgia for the movie as a whole. Which really sucks, because I love Carrie Ells, you know? Like, my movie that kind of, I think, occupies the place that a lot of people have Princess Bride is probably Robin Hood Men in Tights. Okay, I didn't know he was gonna be there! And I'm still upset about that, but, like, I don't hate it, I just have no nostalgia for it. I've never seen The Labyrinth. I've actually never seen The Labyrinth. Just gonna... Ooh, that's a nice Tamlin Lancelot. That's gonna be fun to play with. Maybe if I'd seen it when I was younger. You know. There's another movie that a lot of people get mad at me for not liking, but I don't like it because I don't have any nostalgia for it as a child, and as an adult I didn't enjoy it as much. It's Stardust. Like, I really like Ella Enchanted, right? But I got to see Ella Enchanted as a child, but like Stardust, I'm not a big fan. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, how do you not like Stardust?" I'm like, I just don't. I'm sorry. At least Princess Bride, it's not that I actively dislike it, I just don't want to... It's not a movie I ever really think about when I'm thinking about rewatching, like, a movie that I really love. Like, there's plenty of other movies I watch instead when I get that kind of vibe, so... Look, blame it on me not having any nostalgia for it. I mean, the book was not great, and it really, you know, it put me off for so long that I watched it at a point in my life when I was literally just watching it because my friend told me I had to. And that's not a good way to watch movies. If you're watching a movie because your friend tells you you have to because it's some sort of, like, classic, that's not a good way to watch movies. Especially when your friend who tries to show it to you makes such a big deal of it. Knick-Knack, when he says the Sandlot, is referring to a particular incident where I was talking to one of my friends at the time, and they were like, you know, everyone's seen the Sandlot. And I was like, no, not everyone's seen the Sandlot. A lot of people haven't seen the Sandlot. And then I asked Vorn, and Vorn was like, yeah, I also haven't seen the Sandlot. And then my friend proceeded to, like, browbeat me over the head with apparently every single person who is approximately our age in America has seen the Sandlot, and it's a classic and everyone has to watch it. And I'm gonna be honest, it just became such a thing that now I refuse to watch it. I don't care if it's a good movie or not. I'm not dealing with it after the way that my friends acted over my not having watched that and making what I thought was an innocent comment about surely not everyone has watched The Sandlot. And so I refuse to watch The Sandlot. I just don't care. So yeah. See, Frostshard, I'd heard of Princess, but there's parts of Princess Bride I really like. I like those parts, like, more so as, like, clips and memes that I see. Thank you all for not having watched The Sandlot. Yeah. It's very funny because I think on the whole, if we were to like gauge kind of like the movies and TV that I had consumed pre-high school, I think in general I fit more into sort of a like somebody who was born in like the 80s or the 80s, not the late 90s, like the latest of the 90s. And I mean, keep in mind, my family's a little bit non-traditional in terms of like age and origins and stuff, and so, you know, my mom only grew up with movies that made it past the Iron Curtain and stuff that was popular in Eastern Europe, and then she came to the US and just kind of watched what like people told her to watch. And then, you know, my dad was very old. Like, my dad was very, very old when he had me, like extremely old, older than you think. And so, like, he grew up with, like, the Three Stooges and, like, 30-cent Saturday cartoons at the theater. So, I have a very weird early, like, TV and movie experience. That's okay, Freshheart, I'll just stop using your servants. I'm sure plenty of other people have good servants I can use. I feel bad for Princess Bride. I think I probably would have liked it a whole lot more if I had been older when I watched it. Or younger when I watched it. And I just wasn't. Because I think the effects of nostalgia are not insignificant on movies that I enjoy from my childhood. I will just use people that I'm not friends with, Frostshard. I do not care. No. I do love Carrie Ells, but Mel Brooks kind of occupies the space of like really funny movies that I watched in like middle school and a little earlier that like my mom showed me that were like that were kind of, I think, occupy the same space as Princess Bride for me. Is that my mom showed me Robin Hood Men in Tights. I watched History of the Entire World Part 1. I got to see Blazing Saddles. Recently I've watched the Star Wars parody movie that they did that I cannot remember the name of right now. And a couple of his other movies, and I did watch the new TV show when it came out. But yeah. No. Spaceballs is not one of my favorite movies by him, and I think, like I said, I watched Spaceballs in college, and I kind of already don't feel the most positive about Star Wars, and then Spaceballs just being a parody of that, I wasn't a huge fan. And then, also, I did not really like the TV series for History of the World Part 2. I did like Young Frankenstein. I did watch that later, but I did like it. But I was not a huge fan of the TV series for History of the World Part 2, which sucks because History of the World Part 1 is like one of my favorite movies of all times. Yeah, yeah. Which really sucked because I was so excited for it when it was coming out. And then I was just so disappointed by the series as I watched it. But yeah, no, History of the Entire World Part 1 and Robin Hood Men in Tights were like my jam, and still are. I keep watching those movies over and over again. That's true, because I would argue the other way ferociously and with force. Yeah, see, Frostshard, I know that they're not mutually exclusive, but I didn't grow up with both. I'll be honest, I don't know if my dad had ever seen Princess Bride. And I don't think my mom has. Like, genuinely, I don't. I think they both read it because we had a copy of the book at home, but I don't think either of them ever watched those movies. Oh, you know a deep cut movie that I really liked as a kid? Voyage of the Unicorn? It was like this British, like, straight-to-TV film. It was fantastic. Absolutely adored it. Yeah. Oh, that's fair. Oh, The Producers. I love The Producers by Mel Brooks, too. That's another fantastic one. Absolutely adore it. Didn't see it till college, but absolutely adore it. Yeah, no. I think the first movie I ever got to pick out at Blockbuster on my own was Quest for Camelot, the animated movie, and I got Howl's Moving Castle. This was at like late middle school, and then I think I thought so. Howl's Moving Castle, the book, is part of there's 3 books in that series, right? The second one's called Castle in the Air, and I thought Castle in the Sky was Castle in the Air, so I got Castle in the Sky. Oh, I love Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think I watched that in middle school. I haven't rewatched it since then. I think mostly because I just haven't found someone to rewatch it with me, because it's the type of movie I like to watch with another person, but I loved Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think I watched that and Idiocracy at the same time. Didn't like Idiocracy as much, but I really liked Monty Python. Never saw Free Willy. I know that. Yeah, I think that's my problem with Idiocracy, is that nowadays I just don't want to watch it because it feels depressing. Yeah, no, I haven't seen Monty Python in years. I would love to rewatch that movie. I loved it when I first watched it. Genuinely. I mean, I kept using Monty Python quotes when we were doing the Camelot. I kind of mixed between Quest for Camelot and Monty Python. Yeah. Honestly, I'd be down. Oh, it'd just be so much fun. That'd be so much fun. I mean, it's not super hard, I don't think. I think it's totally reasonable to be able to make that work. Let's drop 3 NPs on Lancelot. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, you gotta watch the whole movie, Zero Herrera. It's fantastically funny. It's genuinely great. Like, so funny to watch. Especially if you're, like, not expecting it. I mean, obviously, because you know the memes are expecting it. But, like, to be 100% real here, when I watched Monty Python, I didn't even know the memes associated with it. And so for me, it was 100% raw first watching it. Oh, and it was great. I think for me, Robin Hood probably edges out Monty Python just because of the nostalgia I have for watching it with my mother. Like entirely based on that, because it was like one of the first films that my mom and I ever actually bonded over. So for me, it's a huge movie, like Robin Hood Men in Tights. Like I watch it regularly. I do reference the Monty Python, the "'Tis but a scratch" a lot. No one expects, when I think no one expects the Spanish Inquisition, because no one expects the Spanish Inquisition, and then my mind just immediately goes to the Spanish Inquisition song from History of the Entire World Part 1. Oh, huh. Oh, 10 out of 10. I love that. Absolutely adore that. That's fucking great. I'm gonna finish Skahak at least. There's a Percival. That's tempting. I actually think I'm gonna use that Percival. I don't use Percival very often. Food does feel like a very large reference to Monty Python. It does. It is the spirit of it, you know? That might have been a mistake. The Inquisition, what a show. The Inquisition, here we go. I bet you're wishing that we'd go away. But the Inquisition's here and it's here to hate. Torquemada, what do you say? I just got, oh my god, I'm just gonna be singing that in my head all day. All day today now. Now I'm gonna have to rewatch History of the World Part 1. Thank you, Jens. It's a good plan for the rest of my day. It's what you oughtn't to do, but you do anyway. It's okay, I'll just go on TikTok and it'll knock it right out. Buddy, please. Die. Fucking wyverns. Fucking wyverns. It's always the wyverns. Oh, Arjuna. Yeah, when I don't care, it really... Oh, yeah, the dreaded Vorpal Bunny. Oh, Monty Python is fantastic. I love the witch part, too. Ballad. Which is funny because Ruler Tori is the one in a bunny suit. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Fantastic. That would have been so funny if they had done that. Like, I know that they wouldn't, but I would have enjoyed that so much. Like, genuinely. I'm gonna use the hell out of you, Percival, because I got a feeling you're about to die. I should have activated your invincibility. Yeah, that would have been smart. Bye-bye. Goodbye, friend. You valiantly sacrificed yourself only for me to use Coulter now. You were so wise in the ways of science. Oh gosh. Yeah, Monty Python's definitely up there for me. Although, I'm gonna be honest, if I really had to think about like a movie, like a comedic movie that made like the most impact on me as a child, it was probably either The First George of the Jungle or Ella Enchanted, to be honest. Yeah. I think those two movies are probably the things that made the most impact on me in terms of like sheer nostalgia and joy as a child. To be fair, I set myself up for your heckling, Knick-Knack, because I am just generally bad at dealing with that sort of thing, so. Oh, there we go. I think that's another couple quartz for me. And we've done some more rank up quests. Wonder if I have the stuff to level anyone up yet. I'll have to check. Yay! Oh yeah, let's see. Do I have an ascension, new ascension unlocked? I don't think I do. Yeah, no. Because I think, yeah, because I'm still waiting on Domon. I don't have the stuff for him. That's who I'm missing the fucking nuts for. Let's see. Woo, I'm also missing. Statues. Let's see. Statues. It's statues. It's really just statues that I'm missing for everyone. Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't really see movies like I don't think I've seen either of those growing up. Yeah. Skills on the other hand. There's a lot of. Oh, you have a skill available? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, because I have skills available on anyone right now who just needs gems. Okay, that's separate from actual materials that I need for skills. Although I do have a fair amount of materials kind of like up for some of these. Oh, not a ton though. Okay. Alright, I'm not gonna. I need to do so much grinding. I really do. It's okay, we're working on it. Yeah, I'll take a 10-10-10 level 100 cats. Oh, and then there's probably some Scooby-Doo movies that I just like from my childhood really, really love. Even ones that other people don't agree on, because there's like a couple Scooby-Doo movies where I was like, I just have really fond memories of them, and a lot of people are like, they're not my favorites, and I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. They don't have to be your favorites. They're my favorites. Whose Line Is It Anyway was really funny. Saw that more as an adult, but honestly, I still thought it was really funny. Then the US version is definitely better than the British version. No offense, but it is. Oh, that's a fantastic layout. I got a feeling I'm going to be doing rank up quests all summer. Yeah, I think there's a British version, and it's not that funny. Because it was the British version that was on Hulu for a while, and I tried to show it to Nick Knack, and he was not amused. And honestly, I get it. It was not that funny. Like, genuinely. It just wasn't. Maybe that's my rose-colored glasses, but did not think it was that funny. These fucking books. I hate them so much. Yeah. Yeah. I used to watch the compilation of things you could say about your blank but not your girlfriend. Not really the most, like, politically correct jokes, but who gives a shit? They were so funny. Like, the point was to be funny. They were great. God, I love those. So great. I love Cats. She's so much fun. Yeah, that is a decent amount of damage. Okay. Oh, Wipeout! Oh my god, US Wipeout? So funny. Like the original Wipeout? Like the editing was stunning. So funny. Yeah, Wipeout was so good. The American Wipeout. I think I tried to watch the British one or the Canadian one. I was not a fan. No, there was another version done by another country. It was one of those things where, like, once again Hulu was showing like the British version and not the American version for like a lot of years. And the British version was just not as funny. It genuinely wasn't. Yeah. Like, I feel so bad. Like, this is like, I feel bad, but I don't feel bad, because it just wasn't that funny. Alright, okay. I still have a lot of rank up quests to get through, damn. And I'm going to have a lot more unlocking as I level up servants. Jesus. This is why this is just a forever thing, isn't it? Does every servant in the game have a rank up quest? Because that's kind of what it looks like here, even the lower star servants. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's fair. That was also a really funny series. And then I also watched, like, once I hit, like, middle school, high school, and I had access to my own, to, like, a computer, I watched 2 Days, One Night, which is a Korean variety show, and I watched Gag Concert, which is a Korean comedy show that was really funny, and I watched a lot of Running Man, which was a Korean comedy show. And so I loved all three of those shows as well. So, you know. And I watched, like, Japanese variety shows and stuff. I just had a lot of fun watching, like, fun little comedy stuff like that. I guess that makes sense, Tacos. Yeah, if they're making new ones every year. Oh, yeah, because oh, yeah, I forgot about the interludes. Oh. Oh my god, I've got like 2 years worth of content just on fucking rank ups and interludes. Oh my god. I can't. Let me exchange my fragments real quick. I'm not drawing on anything, I just want to exchange them. very quickly making back the quartz I spent on getting Summer Ushi. Tacos, I saw that. Didn't you just post about that recently? Like, congratulations. Could not be me. I am so far behind that it is funny. Like, actually funny. I don't think there's anything in any shops that I need to worry about. Yeah. I guess there's the, there's the... Because there's not new... I already got the stuff for this month, and they didn't put new ones out. Yeah, we're good. That's fine. I don't want to use... I don't want to waste pure prisms on stuff I can earn, because I don't have that much. And I already did the whole rare prism shop. Okay. Alright. No. Oh, I don't think I've seen any of those. I think American media is very hard to transpose over to other countries, and other countries' media is very hard to transpose over to America. Because I think the standards and just the audience is very, very different. So, what do you mean, did I get anything special, Vorn? I got some new servants. I got Kets finally. I got Penguin Girl. I'm surprised Vorn's not cameoing here in person, because he's supposed to be coming over to visit with me this afternoon, but, you know. Fair. I did get some new servants, Vorn, at the anniversary. Let's see. I got Kets right there. I got Summer Sei Shonagon. I got Penguin Girl, my favorite. Let's see. And then the other... Oh, I got Domon, finally. Which, by the way, the stickers came for his jars. So his jars, Domon's jars, will now be labeled with Domon stickers. Oh, and I got Summer Ushi. And I got Wu Zetian a while back. And just haven't been able to level her up a whole lot. Even though I want to. And I just have some servants I'm still working on. Yeah. So, all that stuff. Oh yeah, and I've bought the evocation servants that I want. So. But it is hitting 12. I think that's enough for me today, because if I keep going, I'll just be playing more of the rank up and main interludes. And honestly, I can do that next week too. So I will be back next week to do that, I'm sure. Get a bunch more of them done. I might play a bunch of them on my own just because I want to make back the quartz I spent on that one 10 pull for when Ozzy comes back. So I might do some of these interludes on my own. I'm skipping the story, so it doesn't matter much. I'll read the story later when I want to. But that's a... Yeah. So Friday at... Is it 6:30, Knickknack? Is that when we're streaming? You're gonna go pity on somebody. I forget who, but you're gonna go pity 900 gems to get as many copies as you can. And I'm going to start the Noctarea event, whatever I can do. And then if we still have some time, I'll do some more rank up quests and stuff. So 6:30 p.m. on Friday. I have not ruled out the possibility of me streaming Thursday morning. I know I didn't say anything about it because I wasn't sure yet. It's gonna depend. It's gonna depend on if I have time Thursday, but I might sneak a stream in. I'll let you guys know if I do. It depends on how much time I've got, because I'm trying to get things ready for vacation and stuff. I also owe you guys a bunch of videos this week. One video is going to go up later today, probably close to 3 p.m.-ish, depending upload time, because it's edited right now, but I can't stream and upload at the same time, so it needs an hour or so to upload and process. And then you'll get a video Wednesday and Friday. So the late react is going up today, and then Wednesday and Friday. Yeah. So you will get those 3 videos, and then I will get myself on track so that you guys have uninterrupted, non-late uploads through both of our vacations. Can't promise anything after vacation, but I'll get everything up and going for through vacation. So I don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Because I'm a terrible person and I've been really bad about keeping up in editing. Oh. Yeah. So I think that's it for me. I will see you guys potentially Thursday, but yes, we do. Not past vacation, not really. I mean, the podcasts are out past vacation, but we have the reacts up to both of our vacations, and then I think 1 or 2 after that. So when I get back, we're going to be back on the grind for filming, which also means that once both of us are back from vacation in mid-August, the first couple reacts that go up after that are going to be a lot more timely and specific to being very, very new, whereas the next like 4-5 reacts or so to go up are going to be stuff that we have pre-recorded quite far in advance. So if there's anything missing, it's because it's, you know, backlogged recording to account for vacations. So believe me, we know. Well, it'll get added into updates. There won't be any updates to the ends of these videos if something new comes out about them. But not a lot of stuff that we have coming out, upcoming, would have had anything new added to it, I don't think. I am very excited for a couple of videos, though. Obviously, you know who's going up later today. It's T.H.E and Loki, which is going to be a really good video. And then I'm very excited for a couple of the ones that come after that. I will be very interested in seeing y'all's comments and stuff. Always love seeing like the little extra bits. So with that being said, I'll post the link to T.H.E and Loki when it goes live. But yeah, that'll be up in just a couple of hours today. And then we'll be back on track for the rest of the week. I will see you either Thursday or Friday for certain. Have fun, everyone.